Hello, Cherie Gruenfield. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. It's so great to see your smiling face. It helps.
I know what you're saying.
Well, you are one of the most amazing people I know and others know, a 13-time Ironman world champion. And as a matter of fact, seven of those times you hold the age group records in Kona. And this year you were inducted earlier into the USAT Triathlon Hall of Fame. So let's jump right into it on the Ironman side. Way back in 2003, when you were in that 55 to 59 age group, Cherie, did you ever think that the career you've had in triathlon and Ironman was going to evolve into what it is today from that very first time you did Ironman?
Oh man, absolutely not. 92 was actually my first, and and I was 48 at that time. And if you'd have said then that I was going to be still doing them at 55 and 60 and 75, whatever, I would have said you were nuts. I was one of those one and dones. It just sounds interesting. Let me go try it kind of person. And when I look back now and think about what my life has become and all of the people that I have met and have become such close friends with, it just kind of gives me cold chills to think, what if I hadn't done this? Because this is a life that I value a lot and treasure. And if I'd have missed that, would have been awful.
Well, so many people have varying stories and different reasons of why they jumped into the swim, bike, and run world and then wanted to get the top of that every man's Everest of Kona. But what was your main motivation factor of why you wanted to go that huge of a distance?
Well, it actually started. I was 42, and I was not what you'd call out of shape at all. But I didn't do anything. I didn't compete. I didn't do anything. And I saw the first LA Marathon on TV, and I didn't run. Didn't know anybody that did. But I thought, why can't I do that? And so I bought a book, bought a pair of shoes, and started running. And I ran the marathon the next year, qualified for Boston, and discovered that I had a little game when it came to running. So I started running marathons, not short distance, just marathons. And I enjoyed it. I was having fun. It worked into my work schedule. And then in October of 91, I picked up a competitor magazine, and it was dedicated to Ironman, and I read it and I thought this was crazy. Who were these people that did this thing? But after I read it cover to cover, I left it lying around. And many of you know my husband Lee. He picked it up and read it and came to me and said, "You should do this. You'd be great at it." Well, I didn't own a bike. I knew how to swim, but I wasn't a swimmer, and so I thought he was crazy. But he just kind of planted that seed. And it just took a few months for me to get to the point where I had no clue what I was getting into, but I said, I want to do it. And then I realized that you had to qualify. And so I had never done a triathlon. So I kind of gave that up. And how I got there is another story, but I did qualify. I did my first triathlon was Wildflower, long course, and my first triathlon, my first Ironman was Kona. And everyone knows all you have to do is do that once, and you're hooked. That's it. So I was a goner.
It is. It's an amazing experience for first timers who really thought that one and done was going to be part of their life. And all of a sudden they look back and they've got 20 Ironmans under their belt. So when you put out a fantastic book over 10 years ago, Become an Ironman, and reading some of it again, it's absolutely amazing because you are a mentor, you are a coach, and there was a piece in the book that said, training more is not the same as better. What do you mean by that? Because so many people are, have more miles, more kilometers in their head, more time in the pool, more time on the bike. But you seem to kind of discount that. It's got to be better, not more.
Yeah, I think I had the benefit of coming to this late. And I apologize to all the youngsters that might be listening to this, but I think when you age, you get a certain sort of wisdom, and you realize that this body is not something that's going to just work on its own. You got to take care of it. And so when I came in, I realized real quickly when realized I was going to be doing this for a while that it was not about pounding it out. It was about doing it right and doing it well. And so I've always believed that, particularly as you get older, you need to focus more on technique and staying strong and being cautious, making sure that everything that you do, you're focusing on quality rather than on quantity. You can, if you are strong and you use good technique, you can that's the ticket to going longer. So I'm not saying to anybody you should go do an Ironman never having done a 80 or 90 or 100-mile bike ride, but you don't need to do 5 or 10 of them. So, and I've got enough data to prove that that really makes sense. So, uh, I've always been an advocate of less is better, but make sure that the less is good quality stuff.
I've seen so many great athletes over the years give back. And in giving back, it gives them a great amount of satisfaction, but that's not the reason they do it. You created exceeding expectations, and it's all about giving disadvantaged youth a path. And that path is working out, is running, is triathlon. And over the years, you've seen many of your kids, Cherie's kids, go places that their family never even envisioned they'd go. That's got to be one of the most satisfying things in your life.
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head, Mike. I love these kids, and I give them what I can, but I get a lot more out of it because when you see a kid that comes to you without any kind of hope of breaking out of the environment that they're currently in, and you fast forward 10 years or 15 years and you see they've got a college education, they're working, they're doing well, they're giving back to us and to others. There's no bigger reward in life than that. And these kids, sometimes I don't think we realize that there's a whole group of people out there, and I refer to kids because that's what I work with mostly, but people who simply don't have the opportunities that we do. They may have the same talents, the same skills, the same everything, but they don't have the opportunities. And all they need is a little help. And if we who have been blessed with so much can give them a little bit of help that they need, it's life changing. And that's a wonderful thing to see.
It is a wonderful thing to witness too. And when you see no hope on a child's face, it just is thrown at you. And I can imagine when you see the hope, and I've been to graduation ceremonies at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot of one of your kids' graduation, and then the hope you see in their eyes must be so eternal.
It is. It's wonderful. Let me tell you very quickly quick little story that really drove this whole program. When I first started it 20 years ago, I just was taking them to races, training them and taking them to races. And just a few months into doing that, I had some kids in the car and I was taking them home. And I was talking to them about graduating from high school and going to college. And one little kid stopped me, little Nicholas, and he said, Cherie, why are you talking to us about that? That's for other kids. It's not for us. And that was like being hit over the head with a 2x4. And I realized that taking these kids to races was good, but it wasn't the key to what we had to do. We had to make these kids and their families understand that education and opportunities were for them. We just had to make sure that we could get those opportunities to them. And so when I look like the kid that you came to his graduation in the Marine Corps, um, where he was in the very beginning and where some of his family still is just a world apart from where Edgar is today. And it's just because we gave him some opportunities. And he saw people like you come watch him graduate that he didn't know, but that you came because you wanted to see him graduate from the Marine Corps program he'd been in. So it's quite a good deal.
Well, Cherie, so many professional athletes admire you and respect you for what you've done in your career. What male and female professional in our sport impress you the most, that you respect the most? You got a couple?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. First of all, I guess just a blanket. I think that they are all unbelievable. They are.
I'm not
Uh,
going to let you off with that. Come on now.
well, I will be showing my age here. I'll take it back to Dave Scott and Mark Allen are two of my guys. I think that these guys, well, and Greg Welch was in that same group too, but I've seen more of Mark and Dave in the last few years. And these guys just generally, they always have treated me from the day I was on that course and they didn't know me from Adam, but I'd run into them because it was smaller then, to today, they treat me like one of their own. And they are concerned and want to help me and do anything that they can. Uh, and what they did with their racing career to me is stunning, is just stunning. So I would say if I needed to get some pro, if I felt I wanted to get some pro advice, Mark and Dave would be the two guys that I would talk to because nobody knows how to do it better than those two guys. And I think they understand a little bit about the aging process now too. So these are two guys that I truly admire. On the other side, Paula to me is always the queen of Kona. She's the queen of everything. Um, when I first came into the sport, she was practically the first one I met, and I just love this lady. She's generous, she's kind, and you would never know that this lady is the queen that she was and is because she's just down to earth.
I love it. I love it. Humbleness is their strength for all three of those. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to see you come down Elite Drive for that 14th world title. Is that still in your plans?
Uh, I don't know, Mike. I hope so, but I really don't know. I think at 75, I was really committed to coming back and doing it. Had a little bump in the road and couldn't do that. And then this year I was ready to do it again, and we know what happened there. Will I be ready to do it again at 77? That will have been 6 years since I've done an Ironman. It gets tougher and tougher. And I gave up the Ironman because I wasn't enjoying the training anymore. Out here in the extreme conditions in the desert, it's tough. It's really tough. And every year it gets tougher. My gut tells me my plan is to try and qualify. If I can work out the qualifying, I will take the slot. I'm not today committed to doing it at 77, but my gut tells me I will get there. But
I
I'm not making
love
any announcements today.
I love your gut. We all love your gut.
Well, it served me well so far, so we'll see.
That's right. Don't stop listening to it. Well, Cherie, it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you and show this to the world. You are a true inspiration. Being an inspiration and a mentor, and giving back to the kids is something that all of us should aspire to. So thank you very much for all you've done for our sport and you continue to do. And again, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction this year.
Thank you, and thank you for all you've done for the sport.
Thanks. Aloha, Cherie.
Aloha.